had a unique idea. I've done church builds before, but the one that I did was kind of boring, and the stream cut out because I think that was my first stream. But anyways, I have this angled module that I will actually be making this church. It'll be at an angle, so that it's more interesting. And I'll have like a grassy pasture. These U.S. troops are going to be moving up along the side. And there's going to be this half track that's sort of laying down some suppressive fire. Maybe some Germans hiding behind that too. But I'm actually really excited for this one. I'm going to join in my other account, so just give me a second. But I'll probably actually start with the church because that's going to be the most time-consuming thing in this. Just give me a second. And we're good. All right. So, hello RTH, welcome. I'm going to be building a mock with an angled church in this one. So you can see I kind of have the base here. I have this roof. It does go over, but I feel like it would kind of ruin the illusion if it doesn't. Already 2 viewers. Glad you were on this quick. I mean, normally a lot of people don't join until after. You know, I said I was going to start with just the church, but I feel like I need to get some filler in here. Might be an ugly thing to look at for a little while, but I'm gonna have to deal with it. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. Not missed a single stream during Easter. Appreciate it. Yeah, you've been around on a lot of my latest videos. Thank you for that. Just gonna start getting in a lot of these colored parts because I'm not actually... I feel like I might want to save some of the other ones for a little bit later. If I have to actually like detail the church with bigger pieces. But I think my plan is I'm going to have the church kind of at an angle. There's going to be a pathway that leads up to it, so I'll just kind of get this in here. Pathway is going to go down towards the street. This half track is going to be parked about here, laying down some fire. And some US are going to be creeping up along the side of the church. I'm building a sort of Normandy mock after D-Day. And it's going to be more detailed than probably some of my latest mocks. Although I do like my last one very much. I'm not entirely sure if it'll be better than that, but only one way to find out, and that is building it. This is a larger one too. I'm not sure if it's technically larger than my Stalingrad one, but... Okay, we're at 16 and 1 mic, so that's pretty good. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's dipping in and out. Already starting with the 6.7, so... Didn't that die out a little bit ago? I feel like we really don't need a revival. So we got all the filler in here. I'm going to actually put this to the side for a second because we're going to focus on this church, trying to get it all detailed. So just put that over there for right now. What we got here is this church. And this black roof is going to fit on the top of it. It's going to be like pretty detailed. Alright, so I'm going to start by getting some of those parts in there. What's your favorite minifig? Out of my custom ones, that is a hard question. I like a lot of them. I will have to say, I really Yeah, that is a tough question. I really like this one. It's probably one of the most detailed ones that I have. And I've had it for a decently long time. I also like all my Kriegsmarine minifigs. But, yeah, that's about what I have to say. Alright. So we are doing pretty well on time here. I always say that, and then I end up rushing by the end anyways. But I think we're doing alright here. So I'm gonna put that there. This is gonna be semi-detailed. I don't think it's gonna be incredibly detailed, but somewhat. So I'm already starting with this sort of layering just to give the church some texture. I like those 1900s colonist figs. I think you're talking about the Lego ones. If you are, yeah, I do kind of like those ones. I'm actually not sure about what you're talking about. Because I thought those were like Revolutionary War minifigs, not exactly colonists. If you want to clarify or tell me which one you're talking about. Because I'm not entirely sure. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm not going to over texture this, so I'm just going to make that smooth. Might add in a masonry brick there later. The key is when you're building one of these things, you don't want to go too overboard on all these parts. Zulu War Brits. Yeah. I like those too. I've seen them. I don't actually have any, I don't think, but yeah, I really like those. Okay, so that's gonna be how tall the door is. Figure out if I can find parts for that. That's going in. Okay, so that's gonna go there. Can throw that finished module on there. I'm already a pretty big fan of that. I think Zulu, yeah, Zulu history was interesting. It's definitely like an underappreciated conflict. I watched a couple of ones on it, like Warp's Drift and stuff like that. Those are the most well-known ones. I've also played a couple of games on it. Like Zulu Wars, I think that's probably one of the most well-known ones. It's on Roblox. I'm already liking this. What World War II mock should you build today? If you haven't already, I'd do something like city related, like maybe a French city during World War II. JD Bricks made a Rorke's Drift one. Yeah, I saw that one. That was actually like pretty large inspiration for me at the time. I really like that one. Just all the details are really cool on it. Three likes already, so that's very good. Thank you all for that. Grab a part from here. I'm kind of just sifting through parts on my lap right now, so. No, I think that's going pretty well on this. I honestly kind of want to add some like vegetation in here. Some foliage that's kind of maybe near the top, kind of vine. I'm not entirely sure though. And there's our little splash of dark tan. Gonna add in these windows where I think they should go. Now I feel like that is sort of a good distance for them. I kind of like how that looks, so I'm just gonna run with that. Now sure, it might kind of look a little bit plain right now, but I'm not going for too many details at this point. I'm just kind of trying to get the walls sort of fleshed out. I am going to add a couple brick parts in here just to sort of break it up a little bit. Shoot. Like 4. Yeah, I'm at 4 likes, 4 viewers. So, again, thank you guys. It's already going very well. I'm very happy with this church so far. I think it's going to turn out pretty well in the end. Oh, just dropped something. 5 likes. Man, we're actually climbing up pretty steadily with this like count. I'm normally not at this point right now. Alright, I'm just gonna see how this already looks on the mock, and that looks incredible. I'm actually very happy with that. So that's kind of the effect I'm going for. It's sort of at an angle, but I'm gonna add in the roof. It's not actually at an angle, because it would kind of look weird if it just kind of tapered off. Alright, so we are going to add in one of these parts on top of that window. And again, with these just tiles, you can add in like slight brick patterns, which I feel like look really good when you're kind of tiling it, especially if you don't need to see the backside, which is not my goal here. I'm not even sure I'd have enough parts for the backside of this. Okay, and just gonna add in a couple more parts. Anything new? No. It doesn't look like it's glitching either, so I think it might just be a little rest period. Nobody saying anything. Just getting all these parts in here. I'm already really liking the way this is looking. I feel like it's not too plain. It's just like the right amount. I think I'm going to go a little bit taller on this, and then I'm going to call it good. So we are already making some pretty good progress with this. I think we were at around the 15-minute mark. I might make Stalingrad. Yeah, that's always a good go, but I feel like it's always a little bit, I don't want to say, it's a little bit like overused, I feel like. Not that you shouldn't do it, I'm just saying. I feel like people use the Stalingrads a lot. I've used it a couple times actually. I'm no role model here, but because I've done it multiple times. But I feel like if you're going for something unique, you should do like some battle kind of after Normandy, because D-Day is also a very overdone one. And we are going to add another one of these half sticking out bricks. Yeah, Berlin. I really think Berlin is sort of underappreciated. I really like that battle. I think that was one of my first stop motions, actually, if not my first on this channel. It's a really cool battle, really underviewed, underappreciated for its significance. Okay, so we're gonna throw those right there. Okay, I'm already liking this. We have 15 viewers right now. That's kind of crazy. It's sort of climbing and going down, but this is a very good climb right now. Okay. Well, I'm actually going to make this doorway a little bit shorter than the rest of it. Just because I feel like it kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say it gives it depth, but it kind of does. I don't know. Yeah, actually, kind of insane jump. Okay, so that's already looking pretty good. I think I'm just gonna finish it off with one last part, and then we'll probably be good. Okay, and that is pretty good. Actually, really like that one. Gonna grab out a couple of these parts and put them down up there. So just give me a second. Yeah, that's very good. Pretty happy with that one. Alright. I'm not sure where I put the other parts. I had like some black pieces in here. Where did I put those? That's actually a great question. I think I might have put them up here or something. I don't know. I don't need to use that one. I might just throw that on. Yeah, that works. Alright, so this church is done. I'm going to show you how that would look in the mock. And I think that does look sort of incredible. I really like that. So now I just got to work on the rest of this. And sort of see how it's going to go. So that. So we're going to do that. Throw another one down there. Alright, that is pretty good. Yeah, not a lot of people are talking now, which is kind of weird because I just had like a huge growing numbers. It's not a huge problem though. No biggie. Okay, no. I forgot what I was doing here. So we got that. Goes at that angle. Gonna put that plate in there. And then I gotta throw in some dark tan parts. But that's basically what I'm going for here. Yeah, that's looking pretty good so far. I'm actually getting these minifigs positioned, kind of show them creeping up on this half track. Alright, we're doing pretty well. We're staying at like 4 or 5 people at a time, which is pretty good. We're already at 5 likes at less than, probably a third through the stream, so that's very good. So I'm going to get this bar gunner positioned. And yeah. I'm already not seeing too much in the chat again, so I'll check in a couple of minutes. But we got one soldier in there. I'm gonna add another one. It's sort of creeping up behind him. I'm gonna have him actually holding it like this, because that's probably the only way that he'll be able to fit in here. And I'd say that's pretty good. I just gotta put another soldier in here, but first I gotta place in some parts, so that'll just take a second. Okay, so we got the other minifig position there, and then we'll get one more airborne minifig position behind them. And I really do like that effect. I'm gonna get this leg up a little bit more because he's not quite fitting. But that's about what I wanted to do there. Creeping up behind the thing. So I'm not sure if I'm going to have this sort of angled. That might be what I do. I'm going to make it so that this guy's kind of not paying attention. He doesn't quite see him. And there's going to be some troops kind of hauling stuff. Alright, I'm going to actually start on the pathway that's going to kind of lead up to this. It's gonna take a second. I'm still not seeing anything in chat, so. Alright. We're fitting this together pretty well. And I think if I'm correct, that should still fit in. Just gotta angle it correctly. And there it is. So it's kind of coming off to this little path here. Or maybe a German could be running and trying to get to the armored truck that the armored. It's not an armored truck. When do you think you will hit 300 subs? I'm not sure. Honestly, it's not a big worry of mine whether I'll hit it. I'll know I'll hit it probably sometime soon, because I'm already near that. I'd say probably. Just trying to think. Probably within the next couple weeks, if everything goes right. A lot of people already did like this stream, so I'm not sure how many people subscribe, but I'm just gonna get this out so that you can actually see me stepping through this stuff. It's gonna take me a little while. So this is already going pretty well. I just threw some parts away, I feel like. And I put them on the ground. So I did have a couple of parts over here. Yeah, alright. So I'm gonna have these ambushing Americans sort of surprising the Germans. They were caught off guard, didn't expect them to flank. We're actually hopping back up to a decent amount of viewers, so that's all good. And again, I'm gonna throw in a couple of parts here, get everything working well. It's already looking pretty good. I'm not sure what else I'd want to add in this, but I got plenty of time to figure that one out. Because this is already going pretty fast. Okay, I got that. We're going to connect that last part. I'm going to finish up the sort of edging on this one. These little wedge pieces, just trying to get that all sorted out. Yeah, I'm not finding any of the parts that I need. I'm going to put a couple over there. Holy. This is already getting pretty packed with parts here. Don't need that one. That's the part that I'll need. And that's not right. Not right. If kind of frustrating when I'm looking for one of these wedge parts. I always find the other angle. Again, I'm not seeing anything. It's another one of the other angles I'm not looking for right now. And there we go. I'm finally done with that, so I'm going to try to find some parts in here to finish this up. Make it look all tidy and nice. Of course, half of this will be covered up eventually, but it doesn't mean that I don't have to put in the effort for it. Because I want everything to look all nice. Okay, so I'm also thinking maybe have a little bit of a hill over here. I'm already kind of working on it right now. I can just throw one of those parts in. This is already looking pretty good. I'm not sure if my chat is horribly delayed or if you just responded to what I said, but I just saw your saying. So again, I'm just going to work on throwing some of these parts together, get them in. This little hill is not really a key part, but I do like kind of blending little details like this into it. So do something like that. And then I can finally get another part or two in there. Alright, so there it is. And that is the hill sort of finished. I'm adding some more parts, but otherwise that's probably all that I'm going to do here. And then I can move on to sort of the Germans and how they're getting ambushed. I'm not actually going to have the machine gunner shooting at anything, but yeah, we're staying at a decent view count. I get an occasional chat, so. RTW always joins in like at the last couple minutes, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's alright. Again, just getting some parts in. I don't know what the question mark's for, but yeah, this is kind of the boring part, just finding all the plates and stuff like that. Normally adding in the grass is a little bit more fun, but marginally so. Okay, so half track's going to be in like that. I'm going to have him actually angling the machine gun that way. And I'm going to angle his head that way so that it looks like he's turning a blind eye, not seeing the flank. But it is happening, and he's in trouble. Yeah, I'm just trying to get in all these parts. Of course, the grass isn't the most detailed part of this because I'm just trying to fill in some spots. Yeah, we are sitting at about the same amount of viewers. Sorry I'm not talking too much. I'm just trying to find some parts here. It's just kind of hard because they're all over this thing. I mixed together all my green parts, so it's kind of come back to bite me in the butt. Okay. I'm gonna try just a little bit longer to find these parts, but if I can't, then I'm just gonna move on. You know, I really don't want to do this, but I might have to just dump everything out. It's always harder for me to clean up this stuff when I do it this way, but it's easier for me to just sift through and find it. Because I'm always just covering stuff up and stuff like that when I'm doing it on the other way. Yeah, it's kind of a shame that I can't find any parts for that. But I don't know. I'm not sure what I should do here. Might just, because that doesn't fit, just throw that in there. Maybe just one of those in there. Alright, it's not a great fix, but it's a fix, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. And I think it should be covered up by the half track, which is nice. Yeah, so we got the half track in there. I'm going to work on the grass around this area, because that's kind of the next step. I'm going to actually pour some of these parts back in. You're at 6 likes, so thank you whoever just liked. This has been a pretty good stream thus far. We had a couple of surges and views. One like midway through, which is sort of uncommon for these, or at least that big of one. Alright, throw that in there, and then I'm going to find some more parts and place them all down. I'm just gonna place them down. I'll kind of put it at an angle like that. I do kind of like how that looks, because then you can even still see some of the other parts of the mock. And just gonna keep placing some of these in. And if I throw that in there, just gonna keep kind of going with this stuff. Still at 6 likes, no recent comments really. And might add that in right there actually. Yeah, that works. Yeah, I do like how this is turning out so far. Can fit some more parts in here to sort of make it more unique, but yeah, I'm very quiet this stream, sorry. I do notice that. It's kind of an awkward silence, but don't really got much to say because not much has been said in chat recently. So I'm just sort of working, not even focusing on chat. Okay, so I'm gonna actually just get some of these parts ready so that I don't have to keep putting them together manually. I'm sorry, this is kind of out of frame, but what you want to do is just get a couple of these. It creates like a different elevation, sort of. It's not a huge difference, but I feel like it sort of makes a difference. It also just gives me more of these, which I always will need more if I'm doing areas of grass that are this big. I think just my favorite part of this is when it finally comes together and you can see all of the parts together just working. Just get a couple of these. Just getting a whole bunch of parts in here. We are nearing the 45-minute mark, and I should be done with this in time. Plenty of time, actually. It's going by pretty fast. I might add in some flowers in this section just to kind of add in some color. Because I feel like the color pop is always pretty important in stuff like this. Otherwise, it'll just be a grass field, which doesn't look horrible, but not quite as good as when you add some life into it. we're still sitting at about the same viewer count. Again, not much to say here because not much is being said. If you're still watching and want to say something, now's probably the time. I might just get rid of those on the top of that hill because I feel like it kind of just is a little bit too busy around that section. And I'm going to add in one more of these. I'm going to call it good in that section. So I might add in some more of the flower pieces, flower stem pieces in there. Place in that. Okay, and that's probably good. And hello, Demos. I remember you from one of my other streams, I believe. How's it going? I'm building a sort of Normandy mock here. We are at 7 likes, so that's pretty good. I'm guessing Demos just liked it. But anyways, it's gone pretty well on this one. I'm just going to add in a couple more parts. This section is going to be sort of open. There's going to be some Germans kind of hanging out, not suspecting that they're about to be ambushed. And then I'm going to add in some of the flower details on the other sections, but I'm going to place those up there. And I'm going to... The build looks pretty good. Thank you. Appreciate it. So we're going to have these 2 soldiers then figuring out what they're going to do. I'm going to add a little table. I actually had something in here that looked pretty good. It was from my other mock, but it'll look fine here. Okay, so we got one in there, one in there, and then add a sort of brick piece that can go there. So I'm going to get this sort of on a... Put this table in a second after I figure out how to sort of get all this up. Alright. Vehicle from last stream, yes. I'm trying to include it in this one. Because it is a beautiful vehicle. It's really fragile. Actually, right before I was building this, it kind of broke. But I was able to fix it. And I'm going to have this soldier smoking a cigar. The sort of tank captain that you can see here. As he's kind of talking over plans with one of his soldiers. Alright, so we got one soldier there. The other's going to be here. And he's going to be probably, I'm going to have him holding a rifle. And sort of waiting. But otherwise, I'd say that's pretty well done on this mock. I'm not sure exactly what else I should add here. But I'm going to probably... Oh, right, I got to add the flowers. So I'm going to do that quickly over here. But then we could probably call it good. And we are at 6 views. Okay. Grab a couple more parts. This has been a very good stream. Very good mock. I'm pretty happy with this one. Of course, I'm going to show you this in a second, but I've seen a slight problem with this church. You can see the roof kind of reaches over, but I feel like otherwise it wouldn't really look too good. So I think that's pretty decent for what it is. Okay, I'm going to add in some of these flower pieces in here. And, alright, that's not great. I'm just trying to add in as many little parts as I can. This is a fairly detailed one, but yeah. I gotta go. Alright, it's about to end anyways, probably. After I finish up these flowers, it's basically good. But see you in the next stream or next video. I'm at 8 likes right now, so thank you guys for that. And I'm going to add in one more. We got one bunch of flowers. I'm going to include a group of pink flowers somewhere. But otherwise, this is a pretty successful stream. Beautiful mock. I'm very happy with this one. And in terms of the angling on the building, I'd say that's probably the most interesting part of this mock. I really like how I was able to sort of achieve that look. And I like this story that kind of goes along with it. That these Germans were ambushed, had no idea what was going on. Kind of got wiped out by this squad. I just lost that part in there, and I'm not getting it out unless I rip up half these grass pieces. But it is kind of tedious getting all these parts in here. Come on. Come on. Oh my gosh. Can't be losing all these parts. Oh my gosh. This is actually so bad. Might add a little bit too much grass in here because it's just hard to even stick these on. I should have thought about this before I actually did all that. And that's probably pretty good. I'm going to grab that part out because that's one I can actually reach and get to. And then that's probably good for those. I'm going to add in a couple. I think that's actually pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with this one. I'd say it was very successful. Less chatters than last time, but I don't really care about that. As long as I'm able to create a pretty good mock, I'm happy. But very good. I'm happy with this one. Really like the church. That's probably my favorite part. And I really like how the kit sort of fits in there. If you want to see this in another video or something like this, make sure to tell me below the stream or the video that I'm going to post tomorrow. But thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.